Hello everyone. This week, I would like to share a book with you, Atomic Habits by the author James Clear. As you may know, habits are a double-edged sword. Your current habits can lead you to a better life, but they can also set you back over the years. It's not an overstatement to say that if you can control your habits, you can control your life. So let's take a closer look. Are you progressing every day, or are you still the same as you were last year, with no significant changes and growth? Building and maintaining habits is not a new topic, and the book Atomic Habits may not be unfamiliar to many. Before reading this book, I was aware of many similar books on habit formation. Some focus on habits from a psychological perspective, while others provide practical, technical tips. However, Atomic Habits stands out because of the author's clear and concise presentation. The most crucial value I found in this book is that the author emphasizes a vital point. Changing yourself is changing your identity. Instead of relying on willpower to maintain a habit, it's better to change from the inside out. Now, let's dive into this incredibly valuable book. 1. Live like a bamboo. The famous American psychologist William James once said, "Sow an action and you reap a habit. Sow a habit and you reap a character. Sow a character and you reap a destiny." Good habits shape your life. However, we often overlook small changes. This oversight occurs because we convince ourselves that significant success requires grand actions. Consequently, many people miss the value of small, daily improvements, leading to hesitation and procrastination. Moreover, we often lose patience because we don't fully understand the immense potential of incremental changes. But these little things are the key to compound interest. In the book, there's a formula mentioned. If you can improve by 1% each day for a year, you'll be 37 times better. Conversely, if you regress by 1% each day for a year, your current abilities will nearly vanish. Many consider this formula a mechanical gimmick. However, let's put that aside for now and verify this formula ourselves. When we haven't started and changed everything, any conclusion can only be a mere speculation. Small changes can lead to significant results, as maintaining a habit is like creating compound interest for your life. Look at this hidden potential for exponential growth. When we set out to do something, we often idealize our actions, believing that our goals are a straight line going up. We always expect instant results with everything we do. But in reality, establishing a good habit is a curve. In the initial adjustment period, you'll find that this curve initially goes down. At this point, when you don't see much difference, people tend to become discouraged and doubt whether their efforts are worthwhile. This downward curve is like a valley of disappointment. Many fall into it and give up halfway. However, at this point, you need to believe that once you break through the limit, the results will come. This is a common feature of any compound interest process. The most powerful results always come late. Just as in philosophy, there is a law of quantity and quality. Changes in quantity to a certain degree will transform into changes in quality. This certain degree is the breakthrough point during the hidden potential of compound interest when we practice habits. Like the bamboo, in the first 5 years, regardless of the ideal environment, we can hardly perceive any changes. But after 5 years, like magic, it starts growing at a rate of 30 centimeters per day and can reach a height of 27 meters within 6 weeks. It turns out that these 5 years are the time of accumulating the potential of bamboo. During this time, the bamboo roots deeply into the ground, and it only awaits a day to grow tall. In reality, the deeper the roots, the taller the bamboo grows. How can such changes not produce extraordinary results? So, live like a bamboo. Remember that even the tiniest change holds value. Two, if you focus solely on the destination, you will fail. If you fixate only on the results you desire, in a spiritual sense, it's like locking yourself into a narrow perspective. All the potential within any goal holds an illusion that once the goal is achieved, I will be happy. This perspective is like a shackle, making you postpone your joy, thinking that happiness will come only after reaching the goal. However, once you achieve it, you won't genuinely be happy. Sometimes you might even feel a sense of emptiness. This is because at that point, you start hoping for the next milestone. When you are intensely fixated on a specific goal, your motivation becomes, I must achieve that. And once you reach it, this motivation will also disappear. That's why many people fall back into their old ways, into their old habits, after they've achieved their predetermined goals. You need to remember that habit building is not about aiming to win through achieving a goal. It's about constructing a system of habits with gradual and continuous improvement. So, how do you build such a habit system? I'll explain that in more detail in the next part. But first, you need to stop the mindset of looking at the result when carrying out any habit. The best way to maintain motivation is to focus on the process, to stay in the present moment. You don't need to reserve happiness, nor do you need to assume a scenario of success to feel satisfied. You won't have to wait for any moment to allow yourself to be happy. You can truly be happy right at the present moment, throughout the entire process of maintaining that habit. And for sure, this mindset will make it easier for you to persevere and endure. 3. The secret to sustaining a habit is understanding your identity. Behind every system of actions is a system of beliefs and behaviors that don't align with your identity, won't last long. What does this mean? Here, you need to pay attention to the words identity and belief. Your belief and your identity play a significant role in the behavior change you engage in. Before wanting to do something, let your belief become that person, meaning before establishing a habit, you must determine how you want to become. Your belief will decide your actions. The stronger your belief, the more resilient your behavior will be repeated, and the more your behavior repeats, the belief will continue to strengthen. Your identity will become clearer. This is a cycle of sustainable and long-term development. It allows you to keep growing and leads you to make changes that can alter your destiny. For example, if you want to maintain a running habit, you need to identify your identity as an athlete. When you want to read more to write a book or create content, you must believe that you are a creator. If you don't know yourself before taking action, you will only do things half-heartedly or face difficulties during the process. Therefore, remember that habits are a way to express yourself, understand yourself first, determine how you want to become, and then use your belief in who you are to establish a habit system that creates your own happy and developing life. From this perspective, let's shift our thinking a bit and realize that we must stop labeling ourselves or others. For example, parents often wish their children to study hard and be self-disciplined. Whenever they see their child watching TV or playing, they often scold them, saying, "Why are you so lazy in studying?" Labels like lazy in studying, spoiled, or playful can become self-fulfilling prophecies. If you keep labeling repeatedly, it might come back and become a reality. 4. Basic logic of habit formation. The book, The Power of Habit, also touches on this logic. We need to understand how a habit operates before taking action. This is not just mere knowledge. You can delve into the deep-rooted causes of habit nature. Without understanding this, you'll remain stuck in incomplete executions. So, specifically, what are the 4 steps? They are cue, craving, response, and reward. For example, when you hear the Facebook message notification sound, that's the cue. Upon hearing the notification sound, you immediately want to know who messaged you, what they want, and this is the craving. After that, you reach out, grab your phone, and check the messages. This is your response. Finally, after reading the messages and satisfying your curiosity, that's the reward. Take a moment to reflect. Do you see that most of our everyday actions are based on these 4 steps of habit operation? This includes actions like getting dressed, putting on shoes, turning on lights, brushing your teeth, snacking, and so on. So, it's crucial to understand that once a habit is triggered, it's difficult to stop. For instance, you might tell yourself that today you'll read 20 pages of a book when you get home. But as soon as you sit on the sofa, you instinctively grab your phone. Then you lie down, turn on the air conditioning, and open Facebook. After going through that, you end up spending your entire evening. These actions form a chain in the habit loop you've established previously. It makes you not need to think. You just do it automatically. That's why it's important to comprehend how habits function. This understanding can help you overcome bad habits and take the right actions to build good habits. So what are the steps to take the right actions? We'll explore the 4 steps for habit maintenance. The first step is to make it obvious. In reality, human beings rely heavily on their visual sense, which accounts for 90% of all sensory input. Therefore, by leveraging this visual advantage, you can successfully execute the cue phase of habit. For example, let's say you want to develop a reading habit, but if your books are always piled in a corner and you only notice them when you need them, how can you build this habit? To make a habit an integral part of your life, you must make it visible, like yourself. I often place books in easily visible and accessible places, such as on the sofa, the TV shelf, the bedside table, or my desk, so they are within your direct line of sight. I also carry a small book in my backpack, so I can conveniently open and read it anytime I have free time. This principle is similar to how you want to change a bad habit. You must eliminate the triggers that activate your life. For instance, in the evening, you might often crave snacks, especially if you work in an office. Instead of buying chips, sweets, or fatty milk tea, replace them with nutrient-rich fruits and position them where you can easily see and reach them. Not only will it provide you with energy, but it will also help maintain your figure and health. When you no longer see the snacks, or don't easily sit down to play games or use addictive apps, your bad habit will gradually fade away. The second step is to make it irresistible. Here, there's an essential formula that can motivate you to adopt a good habit. It involves stacking habits and linking them to your interests. You can observe this formula. Stacking habits mean that after your current habit, you will perform the habit you want to change. For example, after changing into your work clothes, you will put on your running shoes and go to the gym. After finishing a cup of coffee, you will read a book for an hour, and so on. Regarding habit, linking to interests, you do the habit you need after the habit you want. I often apply this method. For instance, I'm quite lazy when it comes to writing in a diary, but I love taking photos. Almost every day, I take pictures of whatever is beautiful, interesting, or special. Then I write a few lines alongside the photo. This makes my memories more vivid. I've been maintaining both habits joyfully. Now, writing in the diary is the habit I need to perform, and taking photos is the habit I want to do. In psychology, such behavior is called tempting interest. It is the result of Professor David Premack's research, meaning using high-frequency behaviors to reinforce low-frequency behaviors. With this approach, you make the habit more attractive. So, what should you do if you feel it's challenging to control your cravings? The answer is to harness the power of a group. Use the genetic memory within us. Our human ancestors couldn't survive alone. Whether facing wild animals or disasters, they always had tribal members with them, which made them feel safe and comfortable. Did you know that a need is closely related to those around us and has deeply rooted within us? So based on this, use the strength of the group to eliminate your bad habits. For example, join a running group or a club with similar interests, or take a certain training class. If you don't participate fully, there's a good chance you'll be reminded or even expelled from the group. Consequently, for some people, to avoid this, they become more diligent and active. Step 3. Make everything easy to execute. The most significant principle here is to reduce the difficulty. For instance, if you want to maintain a gym routine, don't obsess over which gym is cheaper, has better equipment, or is superior in various ways. Instead, choose one that's closest to your home, making it easy for you to access. Reduce resistance to action by optimizing your environment. Follow the 2-minute rule from the early days of habit formation. Recognize that crucial decisions come your way in life, and they can make a significant difference in your life. These moments of deciding whether it's to cook or order takeout, to bike or drive to work, to scroll through your phone or read a book, are the crossroads of your life. A good or bad day often depends on these decisive moments. If you can accumulate more right decisions throughout the day, they will ultimately lead to a vastly different outcome. So the author advises use that when starting a new habit, never let it take more than 2 minutes to initiate it to avoid, making it difficult to maintain. Instead of forcing yourself to read a book every night before bed, read just 1 or 2 pages. The essence of the 2-minute rule is to ensure that no matter what, you must take the first small step. Sustaining a habit can be quite challenging, but beginning with something as easy as the next step happens naturally. Small, humble actions in reality are powerful. You have to believe that once you start doing the right things, everything becomes much easier. Conversely, if you want to quit a bad habit, you should create obstacles for it. If you can't stop looking at your phone, remove all time-consuming apps. If you can't stop playing games, make it difficult for yourself to start a game. And finally, the last step in habit transformation is to make it enjoyable. We must understand that the reason bad habits are challenging to break is because they provide instant pleasure and satisfaction. When playing a game, you can achieve milestones by passing levels. When eating sweets, you temporarily satisfy your cravings. However, our brains tend to underestimate distant threats, much like the frog boiling and slowly heating water. The immediate happiness bad habits provide conceals their disastrous long-term consequences. Good habits are the opposite. So, you must be cautious of things that offer quick enjoyment. The earlier you question whether it provides long-term benefits, the better. To build a good habit, all you need to do is add a bit of immediate happiness to any habit that brings lasting joy. Conversely, for bad habits, add discomfort and pain. One effective way to boost immediate satisfaction is to regularly track your habits. It's simple. Just create a habit tracker and place it where you can easily see it. Mark each completion when you successfully perform an action. This action is straightforward. but it's essentially a process of rewarding your spirit. It will help you make continuous progress. However, two things I want to emphasize. First, persevere rather than quit. Even though it's difficult to persist, there's rarely an opportunity to retain your essence when you give up. Second, don't let measurement become your goal. When measurement becomes the goal, it no longer serves as a good measure. There is a famous saying in business management: if a company's focus is solely on KPIs, key performance indicators, employees will merely strive to meet those numbers. In reality, they won't be able to perform effectively. Similarly, if you only go through the motions to complete a habit tracking chart, it won't have much meaning. Tracking is just the beginning and a method to help us form good habits, but don't make it your ultimate goal. Don't live to track, nor live just to focus on the goal. These are the 4 essential steps for creating good habits and eliminating bad ones. In general, the video summarizing the book has covered most of the key points, but I'd like to emphasize a few important reminders I've gathered after reading this book. First, this book underscores a crucial point. Habit building is an incremental process, a cumulative effort over time, and an investment in enduring time. However, our time is finite. So how do we know if we've invested wisely and which habits to prioritize? Here, we need to consider the difference in everyone's life because everyone has their unique path. Your first job is to discover what you excel at, areas where you need improvement and change. The book suggests that you should do what you find interesting, but others might find boring. The sign of your suitability for something isn't just whether you like it, but also if you can endure its challenges more easily than most. Others may find it arduous, but you don't. It doesn't make you feel a burden. Rather, you enjoy it. The second point I want to make is not to become overly dependent on habits. You should realize that habits can also have their pitfalls. Sometimes, making an activity a routine can make it mediocre. If someone gets stuck in a daily habit, all they do is 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It becomes automatic and can create a barrier to true breakthroughs. How do we avoid this? The answer is to not expect your habits to be linear, but to expect them to be curved, one curve after another. To achieve this, you must practice deliberately. About deliberate practice methods, you can learn more from this video. I will provide the link below. The highest state of deliberated practice is being able to enter a state of flow, where flow is not a habit. Flow is what you need to entirely focus on, and the most effective habit-building process is getting yourself into a flow state, then mastering it. Finally, the last thing I've learned is that we need to regularly reflect and self-examine and not let our own essence kidnap us. As I've highlighted earlier, the importance of belief and individuality in habit formation. But if you become overly dependent on it, when you fail to achieve it, you will feel lost, disappointed, and become weak. One last word to summarize today's video. These small habits are not simply added together. They have a compounding relationship, stacking on top of each other, and ultimately creating cumulative effects, transforming your life completely. After forming a new habit, it will pull along a series of other positive habit changes. Just like when I formed the habit of reading books, it led to profound life changes. It had a significant impact on me. If you can find a good starting point in your life, dive into it, and make your life drastically better, that's something wonderful and trustworthy. Wishing all of us success, finding levers for our lives, and using habit-building systems as tools to make our lives more meaningful. Thank you for listening. If you found this video helpful, please share it with those who need it. Support me with a like, and don't forget to leave your feedback and thoughts in the comments below so that everyone can learn together. Also, don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to watch my latest videos every week. Once again, thank you. See you in the next videos.